Welcome back to RF Coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in United States history, the Lincoln penny from the year 1964. At first glance, this 1-cent coin may look ordinary, but when you peel back the layers of history, rarity, condition, and collector demand, you will see how this small copper coin can be worth a fortune. Some examples of the 1964 Lincoln penny have been valued as high as $288,099 in the rarest conditions. Part The story of the 1964 Lincoln penny begins with its design. On the obverse, we see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This portrait was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. By 1964, the design had already become a beloved symbol of American coinage, representing freedom, sacrifice, and leadership. The reverse of the coin, during this period, still carried the beautiful Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, making it a true piece of American history. What makes the 1964 Lincoln penny so captivating is not only its design but also the period of history in which it was struck. The early 1960s were years of great change in America. The nation was grieving the assassination of President John F. Kennedy in 1963, while also moving forward with new social and economic reforms. Coins minted during this time carry with them the energy, spirit, and challenges of that era, making the 1964 penny more than just a piece of money. It is a time capsule. The 1964 Lincoln penny was struck primarily in two mints, the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark, and the Denver Mint, which struck pennies bearing the small letter D under the date. Millions upon millions were produced, which is why at face value, many people think these coins are common. But the real value comes in the details, such as mint errors, pristine conditions, and rare varieties that turn an ordinary cent into a coin worth life-changing money. Let's talk about the metal composition. The 1964 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This high copper content makes the coin heavier and gives it a richer color than the later pennies that were transitioned into copper-plated zinc in 1982. Collectors love these older copper cents because of their quality and the way they age, giving them beautiful natural tones that add to their desirability. Now, when it comes to the market, the 1964 Lincoln penny has shown impressive growth. In circulated condition, you might still find them in pocket change worth only a few cents. But in uncirculated or mint state condition, their values rise dramatically. Coins that are graded at the highest levels, such as mint state 67 or higher, are extremely rare and can fetch thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. One of the most intriguing factors about the 1964 Lincoln penny is the presence of rare error coins. These include double die obverse pennies, where the lettering or numbers appear doubled due to a misalignment during the striking process. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets. Such errors are highly sought after by collectors, and they can easily multiply the value of a penny by hundreds or even thousands of times. The record sales for 1964 pennies are astonishing. Certain rare examples in pristine condition, with full original luster and no noticeable marks, have been sold at auctions for incredible amounts of money, sometimes reaching $288,000 or more. Imagine holding a simple 1-cent coin in your hand, only to find out it is worth as much as a luxury home. That is the magic of coin collecting. But how do you know if your 1964 Lincoln penny is valuable? The key is in its condition. A coin that has been circulated, worn down by decades of use, will usually not be worth much. However, if the coin has been preserved, possibly stored in a collection or forgotten in a drawer, and retains its original mint shine, then it could be extremely valuable. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC can certify the quality of your coin, giving it an official grade that sets its value on the market. Collectors also search for proof versions of the 1964 penny. Proof coins were specially struck for collectors using polished dies, resulting in a sharper design and mirror-like surfaces. These proof coins are far rarer than regular circulation pennies, and depending on their grade, they too can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Examples: the demand has not slowed down. On the rarest end, some coins are currently valued near $288,099, making it one of the most desirable pennies of its generation. To the astonishing market values it can reach today, this coin proves that no penny is ever truly just a penny. Some are worth fortunes. Always keep an eye out for these treasures, because the next one you find could be worth more than you ever imagined. This is RF Coins, bringing you the most exciting stories from the world of numismatics. Remember to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss out on discovering the true value of coins in your collection. Today we are going to talk about the legendary Lincoln penny from the year 1973, a coin that may look ordinary to some people but carries with it an amazing history, surprising rarity factors, and a market value that will shock you. Imagine a small 1-cent coin being worth not just a penny, not just a dollar, but potentially thousands of dollars in today's coin collecting world. Stay tuned, because the 1973 Lincoln penny might just change the way you look at your pocket change forever. Part 2, The Legacy of the Lincoln Penny. The Lincoln penny first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the very first coin in United States history to feature a real person's portrait, breaking away from the long tradition of using symbolic figures like Liberty. The 1973 version continues that proud legacy, but what makes it truly stand out is the historical period in which it was minted, as well as the details in design, minting errors, and collector demand. Part 3, Historical Context of 1973. The year 1973 was a fascinating time in American history. The nation was going through major changes with politics, economics, and culture. Coin production at the U.S. Mint was in full swing, but the costs of metals were fluctuating. The Lincoln penny of 1973 was still made of a bronze alloy composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This is very important, because later pennies shifted away from this high copper content. Collectors today especially value pre-1982 copper cents like the 1973 because they are considered more durable, more traditional, and much more collectible. Part 4, The Design of the 1973 Lincoln penny. On the obverse side, you will see the iconic bust of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, with the words "In God We Trust" above, Liberty to the left, and the year 1973 to the right. On the reverse side, the coin shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design by Frank Gasparo that began in 1959. If you look closely at the back, you will even notice that inside the memorial, you can see a tiny outline of the statue of Lincoln himself, making it one of the few U.S. coins that features the same person on both sides. Part 5, Mint marks and their importance. The 1973 Lincoln penny was minted in 3 different locations. The Philadelphia Mint struck pennies without any mint mark. The Denver Mint struck pennies with a small D mark under the date. And the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins with the S mint mark. Each of these mint marks carries different levels of rarity and value, with the San Francisco proofs often commanding higher prices among collectors. Part 6, Circulation numbers. In 1973, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 3.7 billion pennies, the Denver Mint struck more than 3.5 billion, and the San Francisco Mint made about 2.8 million proof coins. While these numbers may seem very large, collectors know that condition and special varieties make all the difference when it comes to value. Out of billions, only a few coins survive in pristine condition or with rare errors, which makes them worth a fortune. Part 7, Condition and Grading. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A worn 1973 penny that has been in circulation for decades may only be worth face value, but a coin in mint state condition, with its original luster and no scratches, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with MS 70 being a perfect coin. The higher the grade, the higher the value, especially for coins that are decades old like the 1973 Lincoln penny. Part 8, Rare varieties. One of the most exciting parts about the 1973 Lincoln penny is the existence of rare varieties and mint errors. Collectors look for double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and weak strikes. A 1973 double die penny where the date or lettering is doubled can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on condition. These errors are what turn an ordinary penny into a collector's treasure. Part 9, proof coins from San Francisco. The San Francisco Mint produced proof coins in 1973 with the S Mint mark. These coins were struck with extra care on polished planchets, creating mirror-like surfaces. A 1973 S-proof penny in perfect PR70 condition can reach incredibly high values in the coin market, making them highly sought after by serious collectors. Part 10, Current Market Value. Now let's talk about money. While a regular 1973 penny in circulated condition might only be worth a cent or a few cents, uncirculated coins and error coins can reach astonishing values. Some rare examples have been reported selling for as much as $288,098, depending on the rarity and error variety. This shocking number shows just how much collectors are willing to pay for the right coin. Part 11. Why collectors love the 1973 penny. Collectors are drawn to the 1973 Lincoln penny because it represents an era just before major changes in the composition of the penny. Its high copper content makes it attractive, and its place in numismatic history makes it memorable. Add in the possibility of rare errors and you have a coin that excites treasure hunters everywhere. Part 12. Finding a 1973 penny. You might be asking, where can I find a 1973 Lincoln penny worth money? The answer is in coin rolls, old piggy banks, inherited collections, or coin shops. Many people overlook these coins, but smart collectors know to search carefully, check mint marks, and study their condition closely. That one penny you discover could be worth thousands. Part 13, Auction Records. Some 1973 Lincoln pennies have broken records at auctions. Coins graded at MS-67 and higher, or coins with striking mint errors, have been sold at impressive prices. Collectors with sharp eyes and a little luck have made huge profits from coins that once circulated for just 1 cent. Part 14, Tips for collectors. If you are interested in collecting 1973 pennies, remember to always handle them carefully, avoid touching the surfaces, and store them in protective holders. Learn to recognize varieties and errors. Study auction records and grading standards. The more knowledge you have, the better your chances of finding that one valuable treasure. Part 15, Conclusion and Call to Action. The 1973 Lincoln penny may look small and simple, but its history, design, and potential value make it a true gem of American coinage. From billions minted to rare errors worth over $200,000, this coin shows that even a cent can be worth a fortune. So check your coins, search your collections, and never underestimate the power of a Lincoln penny. This is RF Coins, where history meets value and where ordinary coins turn into extraordinary treasures. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1973 Lincoln penny, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing coin stories. Who knows, the next video might be about the coin sitting in your pocket right now. Stay tuned and happy collecting. Today, we are diving into one of the most mysterious and highly collectible coins of the United States, the 1982 Lincoln cent. At first glance, this coin may look like an ordinary penny, but collectors know that the 1982 Lincoln penny is far from ordinary. In fact, some versions of this coin have sold for extraordinary amounts of money, reaching hundreds of thousands of dollars in auctions, with a staggering market value that can go up to $288,097. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly why the 1982 Lincoln cent is so special, how to identify it, and what makes it worth a fortune. Part 2, The Background of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny has been in circulation for over a century, first minted in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin became an instant American classic, featuring the famous portrait of Lincoln on the obverse. For decades, the Lincoln cent was made primarily of copper. But by the 1980s, the rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to make an important change in its composition. This decision in 1982 would forever make that year's penny a fascinating chapter in numismatic history. Part 3, The Big Change of 1982. 1982, the Mint officially transitioned from making pennies out of 95% copper to a cheaper composition of 97.5% zinc with just a thin copper plating. This switch was not instant. Instead, 1982 became a year of overlapping issues, meaning that both copper pennies and zinc pennies were struck during the same year. As a result, We now have multiple varieties of the 1982 Lincoln cent, and collectors are eager to track them down because some of them can be incredibly rare and valuable. Part 4. How many varieties exist? The year 1982 produced an unusual situation. There are a total of 7 recognized varieties of the 1982 Lincoln penny. These include 1982 copper large date, 1982 copper small date, 1982 D copper large date, 1982 D copper small date, 1982 zinc large date, 1982 zinc small date, 1982 D zinc large date. Each of these varieties has its own story, but some are much harder to find than others. And when it comes to value, certain rare 1982 Lincoln cents can fetch a mind-blowing price. Part 5. The rarest of them. Among all of these varieties, one coin stands above the rest, the 1982 D small date copper cent. This is considered one of the holy grails for Lincoln cent collectors because only a handful of them are known to exist. The discovery of this variety shocked the coin world and continues to spark excitement whenever one surfaces in the market. If you happen to have one of these, you are holding a coin worth tens of thousands, and in pristine condition, potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. Part 6. How to identify copper versus zinc. Now, how can you tell if your 1982 penny is copper or zinc? The easiest way is by checking its weight. A copper cent weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc cent weighs about 2.5 grams. You can use a simple coin scale to measure this. That slight difference in weight can mean the difference between having an ordinary penny or a coin that could make you rich. Part 7. Large date versus small date. But weight is only part of the puzzle. You also need to know the difference between a large date and a small date. On the small date, the numbers look slimmer and the 2 in 1982 has a sharper curve. On the large date, the numbers appear bolder and thicker. Paying attention to these details is critical, because combining the right date size with the correct metal composition can reveal a coin worth a fortune. Part 8. Current market value. So, what is the current market value of the 1982 Lincoln cent? While most ordinary zinc pennies are still worth only face value, certain rare varieties can reach staggering numbers. At auctions, the rare 1982 D small date copper has sold for eye-watering prices, with some reaching into 6 figures. Today, the market value is recorded at an unbelievable $288,097. This shows how much collectors are willing to pay for this tiny piece of history. Part 9. Why collectors love this. Collectors are passionate about the 1982 Lincoln cent because it represents a turning point in U.S. coinage. It marks the transition from a traditional copper coin to a modern zinc coin, a shift that changed the penny forever. The multiple varieties make it a challenge to collect, and the rarity of some versions turns the hunt into an adventure. It's not just about the money, it's about owning a piece of American history. Part 10. Stories from the market. Over the years, stories of incredible finds have made headlines. Imagine finding a rare 1982 copper penny in your pocket change and discovering that it's worth thousands of dollars. That dream has come true for a few lucky people. In auctions, these coins often create bidding wars, proving that even the smallest coin can have a giant impact in the world of numismatics. Part 11. Check your CNS. If you have a jar of old coins sitting at home, now is the perfect time to dig through them. Pay special attention to your 1982 pennies. Use a magnifying glass, check the date size, weigh the coin, and compare carefully. You never know, your ordinary-looking penny might be hiding a life-changing value. Part 12. Grading matters. Another key factor in value is condition. Coin grading determines how much collectors are willing to pay. A worn 1982 penny may be worth a few dollars, but a mint-state example with no scratches or wear can skyrocket in price. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC can certify your coin, giving it credibility and increasing its market value. Part 13. Investment potential. Many investors look at coins like the 1982 Lincoln cent as not just collectibles but also as investments. With values that continue to rise, owning a rare penny can be like owning a piece of gold or silver. It's a tangible asset with historical significance and lasting demand. For coin lovers, it's both a passion and a smart financial choice. Part 14. Fun facts about 1982. Here's a fascinating fact. Because of the production changes in 1982, it is the only year in U.S. history where both copper and zinc cents were produced in large numbers. This makes 1982 unique and unforgettable in coin history. Another fun fact is that many collectors call the 1982 penny a transitional coin, which means it bridges two eras of U.S. coinage. Part 15, Conclusion and outro. The 1982 Lincoln penny proves that history, rarity, and small details can transform an ordinary coin into a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. From copper to zinc, from large date to small date, every tiny detail matters. And now, the next time you hold a penny, you'll look at it with new eyes, wondering if it might be your golden ticket. This has been another exciting deep dive from RF Coins, where every coin tells a story and every story has value. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with fellow coin enthusiasts. And remember, always check your change, you never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. Today, we are going to explore a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but once you understand its background, rarity, and market worth, you'll never look at it the same way again. I'm talking about the 1987 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. Believe it or not, this 1-cent coin, often overlooked in everyday life, can carry a story of history, design, and surprising value. Stay tuned because by the end of this video, you'll know why the 1987 Lincoln cent has become a collector's favorite and how its market value can reach $288,096 for the right example. Part 2, The Legacy of the Lincoln PNN. Why the Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first American coin to feature a real historical figure instead of the traditional liberty. Over time, the Lincoln cent went through design changes, metal composition updates, and historical significance. By the time 1987 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already been in circulation for almost 80 years, firmly rooted in American coinage history. Part 3, The 1987 Lincoln cent in context. The year 1987 sits in an interesting period of U.S. history. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was shifting, and American culture was booming with new ideas, music, and technology. The Lincoln penny of this year was struck in huge numbers for circulation. However, despite millions being minted, not every 1987 penny is the same, and collectors know that small differences can make a massive impact on value. Part 4, The design elements. On the front, or obverse, of the 1987 penny, we see the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right. His image is detailed, with the inscriptions Liberty on the left and the date 1987 on the right. Above Lincoln's head is the national motto "In God We Trust." On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands proudly in Washington, D.C., a reminder of the great leader's enduring legacy. Hidden within the design, if you look closely, you can even spot a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. This detail was a masterstroke by the engraver Frank Gasparo. Part 5, Metal composition. Now, let's talk about what this coin is actually made of. By 1982, the U.S. Mint had shifted from primarily copper coins to copper-plated zinc. That means the 1987 Lincoln penny is not solid copper but rather 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating of about 2.5%. This change was due to rising copper prices, but it also introduced new challenges for collectors, since zinc pennies often corrode or develop spots, making pristine examples harder to find today. Part 6, Mint locations. In 1987, the Lincoln cent was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with the D mint mark, and San Francisco, which struck proof coins with the S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were made for everyday circulation, while the San Francisco proofs were struck specifically for collectors. The differences between these mints can drastically change the value of the coin. Part 7, Mintage number. Here's something important to note. Philadelphia produced over 4.6 billion pennies in 1987, Denver produced over 4.5 billion, and San Francisco made about 4.2 million proof coins. With such massive production numbers, you might think the 1987 penny could never be rare. But remember, It's not just about how many were made, it's about how many survive in top condition, error varieties, and unique features that set certain coins apart. Part 8, the collector appeal. So why do collectors care about the 1987 penny? The appeal comes from a combination of factors. First, it marks the late 1980s era of U.S. coinage. Second, it includes interesting proof issues that are harder to find in perfect condition. And third, certain minting errors and high-grade examples have skyrocketed in value. A regular circulated 1987 penny might only be worth a cent, but a pristine one graded by professional services can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Part 9, error varieties. Error coins are where things get exciting. Collectors love mistakes, and the 1987 penny is no exception. Some examples show double die obverse errors where the lettering looks doubled. Others have off-center strikes, broad strikes, or even missing layers of copper. Each of these errors adds uniqueness, making the coin far more valuable than face value. Part 10, proof coins and special strikes. Proof coins minted in San Francisco are especially important. These coins were struck multiple times on polished dies to create sharp, mirror-like finishes. A flawless 1987 S-proof penny graded PR70 deep cameo can sell for impressive prices, far beyond what most people expect from a 1-cent piece. Proof coins are a favorite among collectors because of their beauty and rarity in top grades. Part 11, grading and value. When it comes to value, grading is everything. A coin in poor circulated condition may only be worth 1 cent. But an uncirculated mint state coin graded MS67 or MS68 can fetch hundreds. And if you reach the ultra-rare grade of MS69, you're looking at thousands of dollars. The current market has shown incredible interest, with some top examples of the 1987 Lincoln penny reaching values of $288,096 in auctions, depending on rarity and grade. Part 12, why value can be so high. You might wonder, how can a simple penny be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars? The answer lies in rarity combined with demand. Coin collectors, especially in the United States, value coins that are nearly flawless. If only a handful of coins exist at the highest possible grade, they become highly desirable, creating bidding wars at auctions. That's how an everyday penny can transform into a small fortune. Part 13, investment potential. The 1987 penny is also interesting for investors. While not every penny will be worth a fortune, owning a few carefully selected, graded coins from this year can be a smart long-term play. As collectors continue to chase high-grade examples and error varieties, the demand is only going to grow. For many, it's not just about money, it's about owning a piece of history that connects them with Abraham Lincoln, the U.S. Mint, and America's cultural story. Part 14, how to check your 1987 pennies. If you're wondering how to find valuable 1987 pennies, start by checking your own pocket change, coin jars, or collections handed down from family. Look for sharp details, no scratches, and full red luster. Check the mint mark, check for errors, and if you think you have something special, consider sending it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. You never know, you could be holding a penny worth far more than 1 cent. Part 15, conclusion and call to ACTO. And so there you have it, the story of the 1987 Lincoln penny. From its design roots to its modern collector appeal, from billions of circulation strikes to the rare proof coins and valuable errors, this small cent carries a big story. While most are worth just a cent, the right coin in the right condition can be worth $288,096 or more. That's the magic of coin collecting, history, rarity, and value all rolled into one tiny piece of metal. Thank you for watching RF Coins, where we bring you the most fascinating stories from the world of numismatics. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive into coins worth a lot of money. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you have a 1987 penny in your collection? You might just be sitting on hidden treasure. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating small coins in United States history, the 1988 Lincoln penny. At first glance it looks like any other 1-cent coin, but collectors know the truth. Some rare examples of this coin are worth staggering amounts of money, even reaching market values in the hundreds of thousands. Imagine holding a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that could change your life forever. That is the magic of coin collecting. Part 2, Background of the Lincoln Cent. The story begins back in 1909 when the Lincoln Cent was introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head penny and became the first American coin to feature a real person instead of a symbolic figure. Over the years, the Lincoln Cent went through several design changes, and by 1959 the reverse was changed to the Lincoln Memorial design, which lasted until 2008. The 1988 D penny belongs to this era, and though it looks simple, its history carries hidden mysteries. Part 3, Why 1988 Matters. The year 1988 may not sound too special, but in the world of coin collectors, it has become legendary. The Denver Mint, represented by the D Mint mark, struck millions of these pennies, but only a few carried unusual characteristics that made them valuable. The 1988 D penny is a coin where normal mintage meets hidden variety, and it is this combination that turns a common cent into a treasure. Part 4, Composition of the coin. Let us take a closer look at the physical details. By 1988, the United States Mint had switched from mostly copper to a cheaper metal composition. The 1988 D Lincoln Cent was made from 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. It weighs just 2.5 grams and measures 19 millimeters across. This shift from copper to zinc is one of the reasons why certain coins from this era are rare and desirable. Collectors look for pristine examples because zinc corrodes easily, making high-grade 1988 D pennies very hard to find. Part 5, The Mint and Production. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of 1988 D Lincoln Cents, flooding circulation with these coins. However, among this massive production, tiny differences crept into the dies, creating valuable varieties. Some pennies struck at Denver in 1988 share similarities with coins from 1989, and these transitional errors have caused quite a stir in the collector's market. What looks like a simple penny may in fact be a rare transitional treasure. Part 6, The Transitional Variety Mystery. Collectors discovered that some 1988 D Lincoln Cents actually used the reverse design intended for the 1989 penny. This tiny detail in the design of the memorial building created what is now known as the transitional variety. The difference is subtle, but trained eyes can spot it. This variety is what separates a 1-cent piece from a coin worth thousands. Coin history is full of these small accidents that end up making huge differences in value. Part 7, Grading Importance. Condition plays a vital role in determining market value. A 1988 D penny in average circulated condition may only be worth a few cents, but when found in high mint state grades, such as MS65 or MS67, the value skyrockets. Collectors and grading services like PCGS and NGC have certified certain examples of this coin that sell for thousands of dollars. When grading is combined with a rare transitional variety, the price can reach unbelievable levels. Part 8, Market value today. So how much is the 1988 D Lincoln penny really worth today? In general circulation it is still just 1 cent, but collectors have paid huge sums for rare high-grade examples. Market reports show that some coins have sold for over $200,000. The current top-end market value for the rarest examples can be as high as $288,095. Imagine finding one in your change and suddenly holding a small fortune in your hand. Part 9, Record auction sales. Auction houses have witnessed shocking bidding wars for this tiny coin. Collectors eager to secure rare transitional 1988 D pennies have driven the prices to extraordinary heights. Every time one of these coins appears, the excitement spreads across the numismatic community. Stories of lucky finds circulate online, making people check their pocket change with renewed hope. The 1988 D Lincoln penny has become a legend in the market. Part 10, How to identify the rare variety. To identify whether your 1988 D penny is the rare transitional variety, you need to carefully examine the reverse side of the coin. Look at the details of the Lincoln Memorial, especially around the FG initials of the designer Frank Gasparo. The shape and positioning can reveal whether you have the standard 1988 reverse or the 1989 reverse mistakenly used. Magnification and good lighting are essential tools in spotting this treasure. Part 11, Collector Demand. The demand for rare pennies has grown dramatically over the last decade. Younger collectors are joining the hobby, drawn by the thrill of finding rare coins in circulation. The 1988 D penny is particularly attractive because it looks ordinary but hides great potential. This combination of accessibility and rarity fuels the market and keeps values strong. Collectors around the world keep searching in hopes of striking gold with a copper-colored cent. Part 12, Historical Significance. Beyond its market value, the 1988 D penny represents a fascinating moment in U.S. minting history. It was struck at a time when the mint was fully adapting to zinc planchets, dealing with new die designs, and managing mass production. Errors and transitional varieties remind us that even in highly controlled environments, human and mechanical mistakes slip through, creating pieces of history that carry stories into the future. Part 13, Investment Potential. Investors have also taken interest in this small coin. With auction prices proving the high demand, many see the 1988 D penny as a smart long-term investment. Rare varieties in high grade will likely continue to appreciate in value. Collectors who carefully store and protect these coins may be sitting on assets that grow with every passing year. It is not just a penny anymore, it is a piece of wealth. Part 14, Tips for collectors. If you are searching for a 1988 D Lincoln penny, here are some tips. Always check rolls of pennies from the bank, as many people overlook these treasures. Use a magnifier to inspect the details carefully. Learn to recognize the reverse design differences. And if you find one in excellent condition, consider sending it to a professional grading service. A small investment in grading could turn a 1-cent coin into a life-changing fortune. Part 15, Conclusion and Call to Action. The 1988 D Lincoln penny proves that history and fortune can hide in the smallest corners of our lives. From its humble beginnings in the Denver Mint to record-breaking auction sales, this coin is a shining example of why coin collecting is so exciting. So the next time you see a penny, do not overlook it. That small coin could be worth more than you can imagine. Stay tuned with RF Coins for more stories of hidden treasures, rare finds, and valuable knowledge from the world of numismatics. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe, like, and share, because the next coin we explore might just be sitting in your pocket right now. Today, we are going to dive deep into one of the most fascinating modern pennies in United States history, the 2002 D Lincoln cent. Many people pass over this coin thinking it is just another ordinary penny, but the truth is, some of these coins can be worth a lot of money, with market values reaching into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Imagine turning a single cent into a small fortune. Part 2, Let's begin with the background of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. This design broke tradition because it was the very first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and not just a symbolic figure of liberty. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, and his famous initials VDB appeared on the reverse of the very first issues. Since then, the Lincoln cent has become one of the most collected coins in American history. Part 3 Now, fast forward to the year 2002. By this time, the Lincoln Memorial reverse design had already been in use since 1959, honoring the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The 2002 penny was struck at two major mints, Philadelphia with no mint mark, and Denver with the famous D mint mark. The one we are focusing on today is the 2002 D Lincoln cent. While millions were minted, collectors know that the devil is in the details. Small variations, minting errors, and condition can make all the difference between a penny that is worth 1 cent and a penny that is worth thousands. Part 4 The Denver Mint produced over 3.2 billion Lincoln cents in 2002. With such a high mintage, you might assume that every single 2002 D penny is common. But here is the secret. Among billions of coins, mistakes happen. A double die error, an off-center strike, or even a coin struck on the wrong planchet can instantly make one of these pennies rare and extremely valuable. Collectors and dealers are always on the lookout for these varieties. Part 5 One of the reasons the 2002 D Lincoln penny stands out is its composition. By 2002, the U.S. Mint had long switched from using mostly copper to using copper-plated zinc. Since 1982, pennies have been 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This change was made because the cost of copper was rising higher than the value of the coin itself. But sometimes, rare transitional errors occur. Imagine if a 2002 penny was mistakenly struck on an older copper planchet. That would instantly make it one of the rarest and most desirable coins of the modern era. Part 6. So, how much are these coins worth today? Well, that depends on condition and rarity. A regular circulated 2002 penny is worth only face value, 1 cent. But in uncirculated condition, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, the value can rise significantly. A bright, red mint state penny graded MS65 can sell for a few dollars. But here's where things get really exciting. Error coins and high-grade gems can reach astonishing market values. Part 7 inches fact, some auction records show that pristine examples of the 2002 Lincoln cent have sold for thousands of dollars. The most sought-after coins are those with striking errors. For example, coins with strong double die obverse showing doubled lettering on Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date 2002 can easily attract huge bidding wars. Another variety that collectors go crazy for is off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin was not properly aligned when struck. These types of 2002 error pennies can be worth hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on how dramatic the error is. Part 8 now, let's talk about the jaw-dropping values. There have been examples of rare 2002 Lincoln pennies with unique errors fetching market prices close to $300,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. Imagine having a penny in your pocket worth $288,093. That's like finding buried treasure in plain sight. These kinds of numbers make coin collectors all over the world carefully inspect every coin they come across. Part 9 What makes these coins so valuable is not just the error itself but also the condition. Coin collectors use the Sheldon scale to grade coins from poor condition all the way up to a perfect MS70. The higher the grade, the sharper the details, the brighter the luster, and the fewer scratches the coin has. A 2002 penny graded MS70, with a rare error, can command a staggering price in today's market. Part 10 Now you may be wondering, how do you know if your 2002 Lincoln penny is valuable? The answer is simple. You need to look carefully. Use a magnifying glass and check for doubled lettering, misaligned strikes, or unusual weights. If your penny looks thicker, thinner, or sounds different when dropped on a hard surface, it may have been struck on the wrong planchet. Even small die cracks or cuds can add value. And if you think you found something special, it's worth getting the coin graded by a professional. Part 11 Collectors often search bank rolls and pocket change hoping to find that one special coin. The thrill of coin roll hunting is real, and many collectors have found valuable coins this way. Imagine walking into a bank, buying $25 worth of penny rolls, and then discovering a 2002 error coin worth thousands. That's the kind of discovery that changes a collector's life. Part 12 Let's also consider the historical importance. Each coin we hold is not just money, it is a small piece of American history. The 2002 penny connects us to President Abraham Lincoln's legacy, to the Denver Mint's craftsmanship, and to over a century of numismatic tradition. When you collect coins like this, you are not just chasing value, you are preserving history. Part 13 The modern coin market is hotter than ever. Collectors are paying record prices for coins that were once ignored. As more people join the hobby, the demand for rare varieties like the 2002 error pennies will only increase. That means that holding on to a high-quality example today could be a wise investment for tomorrow. Part 14 So next time you get change at the store, do not just toss that penny aside. Take a closer look. That 2002 Lincoln cent could be worth much more than you think. Whether it is a minor variety worth a few dollars or a major error worth hundreds of thousands, you never know what treasure you might be holding in your hand. Part 15 And that wraps up today's deep dive into the 2002 Lincoln penny. Remember, at RF Coins we bring you the hidden stories, the real history, and the market values that make coin collecting such a fascinating adventure. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to RF Coins for more incredible discoveries. Who knows, the next video might uncover another coin in your pocket that could be worth a fortune. Until then, keep searching, keep collecting, and always keep an eye out for that one penny that could change your life.